conspiracy theory started even back then, that it continued to operate underground.
Let's talk about that.
Now, fast forward to modern times, there is still a belief that there is a global elite secret society that controls a lot of things.
Some people on the campus saying pronouns like he, she, him, or her do not represent them accurately.
Time now for the ridiculous, and tonight I'd like to address something sometimes referred to as the gay agenda. Now, I've never actually been to the secret meeting where the gays plot their agenda, though I imagine the catering is quite amazing.
There's gonna be drag kids in the world, and I'm one of them.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made.
Including the U.S. government, the British government, the UN.
I'm here representing civil society.
The space program.
You know, he was talking about Epstein a long time ago.
I know.
A long time ago. He was saying there's a fucking island, and they take all these rich politicians and some celebrities, and they bang these kids. And I was like, come on. He was telling me this a long time ago. So he's also the one who told me about Bohemian Grove. Former presidents go. There's a photograph of, it's Ronald Reagan with Herbert Walker Bush and a couple other people all standing around. And they would put on robes and they would worship an owl god, and they would burn an effigy, but it's like shaped like a body.
Yeah.
And then they drop it on the fire, and they're all worshiping an owl god. And they're dressed like druids.
Is that camera on me? Friends at the Bohemian Grove. I went to a summer camp. We had bonfires. We wore robes. I mean, not like maybe what you do. I just want to say, listen, I won't tell anybody. I got a podcast. I won't even tell Joe. Let me in. I'll worship Moloch.
And the entire entertainment industry.
Oh, say, can you see?
Screw your freedom.
I believe it's in your business interest to run a vaccine-only establishment.
Because too many people have chosen to live with this virus. We're at a point in this epidemic, this pandemic, where choice, individuals' choice not to get vaccinated is now impacting the rest of us.
Every day, more businesses are implementing their own vaccine mandates. We all want our lives to get back to normal.
I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but don't get the vaccine, you can't go to the supermarket. Don't have the vaccine, you can't go to the ball game. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to work. You don't have the vaccine, can't come here. No shirt, no shoes, no service. That's where I think we should be right now, because we continue to waste our breath on people who are just not going to change.
Screw your freedom.
That I do believe at the local level, Jake, there should be more mandates.
This is George Washington's compass. I'm taking a very big risk here in Gamble, but this is how much I believe in Ted Cruz. I'd like you to hold on to that as you're going through and people are slinging mud, to make sure that your compass is square.
Listen, I think vaccines are terrific. I've had the vaccine myself. I think it's given us a lot of freedom. But I think there's a real potential for government overreach. And I don't believe anyone should be forced to take the vaccine.
It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes.
Your compass is square. Compass.
We often think of propaganda in terms of its very vivid, infamous iconography, such as Nazi propaganda and Stalinist propaganda. But really the most powerful propaganda of the 20th century and the 21st century is insidious, something that we often don't recognize, something that's disguised. And it comes from two words: public relations.
Given the fact that we are in somewhat of a very difficult situation with the accelerating cases, I would encourage private enterprises to seriously consider.
You know, when serious people say something is serious, then I guess that's
that's where you go, right?
Of mandating vaccination.
Don't have a vaccine, can't go to work.
I think it's pretty fair to say we are now living in an utterly pagan nation.
By the power in me vested, and in the name of the great architect of the universe, I declare this stone well and truly laid.
By all measures, it is a pagan nation.
The Bible says that God is the master of all things in heaven and on earth. But a total mastery of the universe may not be just a divine power. It could be our destiny. I believe in God. I believe in me. Same person.
People who build the vehicle, all of our manufacturing people. It's a big team. They've been working on it for many years, and they have done an extraordinary job.
Here we go, New Shepard. Have a great flight, Mannequin Skywalker. Enjoy that shiny new capsule, and we'll see you back home soon at Launch Site 1.
When a Mason goes into the lodge, every Mason receives this white lambskin apron, and they will wear this as a covering. Because when you get into Masonry, they say that no woman can be a Mason. And that is because she does not have what they call the generating principle of life, the male organ.
His scientific legacy continues. So does the puzzle of his death. On June 17th, 1952, at 5:08 in the evening, a powerful explosion shook tranquil Pasadena, California. And so ended the life of 38-year-old Jack Parsons.
Was it an accident? Was it suicide? Was it murder? Was it a strange occult ritual gone wrong?
Anybody with more than a cursory knowledge of 20th century history who dares to claim simultaneously that they have compassion for the downtrodden and that they're Marxists are revealing either an ignorance of history that's so astounding that it's actually a form of miracle, or a kind of malevolence that's so reprehensible that it's almost unspeakable.
We actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
We already know what the Marxist doctrines have done for oppressed people all around the world, and the answer to that mostly was imprison, enslave, work them to death, or execute them. And as far as I can tell, that's not precisely commensurate with any message of compassion.
Black Lives Matter Utah making national headlines after calling American flag holders racist.
Black Lives Matter Utah posted a picture of the flag with a caption, "When we Black Americans see this flag, we know the person flying it is not safe to be around and is a racist."
Every time we receive any hatred, it comes from someone flying an American flag.
This is the thing. It's a great mantra. It's a true mantra. Black lives do matter. But when you're talking about an organization, you're talking about the leaders. You're talking about the people who are responsible for putting these things together. I got you. Cherry, you realize that even during the civil rights movement that Dr. King was seen as extreme. That movement was seen as extreme. Don't get the vaccine, you can't go to the supermarket. To people who don't want to make change, movements are seen as extreme. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to work. You can paint them easily as an extreme when they are not. That's where I think we should be right now.
The ministry of truth, mini-true in newspeak, was startlingly different from any other object in sight.
When we take part in democracy,
It was an enormous pyramidal structure of glittering white concrete.
Most trusted name in news.
The instrument, the telescreen it was called, could be dimmed, but there was no way of shutting it off completely.
A vicious assault on a man who was working as a Walmart greeter in British Columbia. He'd ask a customer to put on a mask, and it is the latest example of what we're seeing now, sometimes violent backlash to the public health rules that are meant to keep people safe.
A horrible thing about the 2 minutes hate was not that one was obliged to act a part,
We don't want you here. We don't want you here.
but that it was impossible to avoid joining in.
We don't need a fainter.
Which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
He's written a lot of books about business. They all seem to end at chapter 11.
Wait till you see what Hillary Clinton will do to this country and how she will drown us in debt.
Within 30 seconds, any pretense was always unnecessary.
We have a pandemic because of the unvaccinated, and they're showing an enormous confusion.
A hideous ecstasy of fear and vindictiveness, a desire to kill, to torture, to smash faces in with a sledgehammer seemed to flow through the whole group of people like an electric current, turning one even against one's will into a grimacing, screaming lunatic.
There is a growing divide in America between those who will get vaccinated.
All of my friends are vaccinated.
My freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom.
And those who will not,
No one is going to tell me that I'm going to stop here, that I have to stop at this traffic light here.
My position is in line with Roe v. Wade, that women have a constitutional right to make these most intimate and personal and difficult decisions based on their conscience, their faith, their family, their doctor. It is something that really goes to the core of privacy.
Screw you.
Privacy.
This is a miraculous place, literally full of wonders. And if you're vaccinated, all that's going to open up to you. You'll have the key, you can open the door. But if you're unvaccinated, unfortunately, you will not be able to participate in many things.
There's a wedding coming up, and not everybody's going to be vaccinated there, including the bride.
I think it would mean the end of the friendship forever, but right now in the near term, we need to take a beat.
I surround myself, and I'm surrounded with love and honor, and certainly those that are vaccinated.
She's taking a break and cutting ties with people in her life who are unvaccinated.
And there's still such a large group of people that are afraid of the vaccination or the anti-vaxxers, or they just aren't listening to the actual facts. It's a real shame, and I've lost a few people recently in my weekly routine who sort of have refused and also did not disclose.
Sell crazy someplace else.
And who knows which is which? And who is who?
The psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people.
There will be no removal of masks to consume alcohol outdoors. So you will no longer be able to remove your mask to drink a cocktail at a pop-up beer garden on a footpath as part of a pub crawl.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.
Never waste a good crisis.
I'm sorry. I mean, I know people must like to have their individual freedom and not be told to do something. But I think we're in such a serious situation now that under certain circumstances, mandates should be done.
Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America.
Understand and take heed that if you are going to breach public health orders anywhere in this state, you will be caught.
The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already.
Read it again. They should what?
And they shall bow down to thee with their face to
Most of it is done by Americans to Americans.
Like you want it down? That's what the Lord said. That's right.
To change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
and lick up the dust of thy feet.
And do what?
And lick up the dust of thy feet.
Yes, you have to apologize. All their fathers are victims of slavery. One at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. To change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions.
There's something rebellious about being a cis man and getting dolled up, putting on a wig, walking in the streets and going to my gigs and taking over the space.
Exposure to true information does not matter anymore. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
Oh my God, guys, I'm freaking out. What am I gonna do? Just kidding, I already scheduled the appointment. I am what conservatives fear!
So screwed.
Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine.
A Republican governor of a deep red state actually said out loud that it's, quote, time to start blaming the unvaccinated. I want to apologize. I said I was traveling in an aircraft that was hit by RPG fire. I was instead in a following aircraft, and once again, the illness is surging. 2 of our 4 helicopters were hit by ground fire, including the one I was in. I want to apologize.
And in fact ended up in the top half of my class.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class.
I graduated with 3 degrees.
That he does not have 3 degrees from college.
But it's not far down to paradise.
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science.
We launched our campaign over on the Oval back in May 9th, 2019.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
Many members of minority groups have a much greater risk of COVID-19, often because of the nature of the jobs that many of them have as essential workers in society.
Stop that. That's racist.
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science.
True international effort to pressure for people that bad at health care.
Takes me away to where I always heard it
bio-based multi-manufacturing job. Everyone knows you support your family. I know and appreciate that you get that. But you should also know I never covered my brother's troubles because I obviously have a conflict. And there are rules at CNN about that. So you had video of it that I want to show the audience of you actually getting tested. Here it is. There's you were kind of funny. Point blank, I can't be objective when it comes to my family. I just want a yes, no. Was it this? And there are rules at CNN. I never misled anyone. All right, here it is. The official re-entry.
That's not the first time he's gone out of the basement.
Well, it's not far down to paradise. At least it's not phony. And if the wind is right, you can sail it.
I don't understand why you have to lie all the time.
You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information.
Many of us warned that if you cheer those deplatformings, what you're cheering for is a system that will inevitably expand to ultimately swallow and silence from the internet, not just the people you hate, but the people you like.
Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches.
On May 26th, we will announce a winner of a separate drawing for adults who have received at least their first dose of the vaccine. This announcement will occur each Wednesday for 5 weeks, and the winner each Wednesday will receive $1 million.
We're over here begging and bribing people to get it like we're trying to convince a 4-year-old to eat his broccoli nuggets. It really is ridiculous. Not to bribe people. Cockamamie misinformation. The
Kaiser Family Foundation survey found that more than half of unvaccinated Americans think the vaccine is more dangerous than COVID. The Biden administration has come down hard on vaccine misinformation.
Like we're trying to convince a 4-year-old to eat his broccoli nuggets.
And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people.
The police spoke to me and said I had broken the law and recommended a school to me. After discussing this with my family, I applied to come here voluntarily. I listened many times to an illegal preacher speaking. Afterwards, some extremist thoughts appeared in my head, which broke the law.